68 years ago today, Jackie Roosevelt Robinson valiantly changed history with one step. A transcendent athlete with an effortless smile that characterized his Hall of Fame career. Jackie Robinson's courage and tenacity encouraged the youth of a nation to persevere at any cost. Today, baseball and the Oakland Athletics honor the man whose trademark grace forever altered the course of American sports. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston on a day that we honor a great man, and that is Jackie Robinson. On Jackie Robinson Day, of course, the familiar number 42. Everybody's going to wear number 42 today all around Major League Baseball. And here in Houston, the A's are going for the three-game sweep. It's the A's and the Astros coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hey again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball, along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. So far in this series, A's pitchers have allowed just one run. And tonight, Ray, it's Drew Pomeranz's turn to try to keep it going.
Well, a lot of good things that he did against the Seattle Mariners in his first start, as we will show you. Elevated fastball. He had several strikeouts, and a lot of that because of the fastball that he throws right there, up in the zone. The right-handers could not catch up to it. Of course, pitching out of the stretch exclusively. Great batting practice fastball at about 87. Good curveball, but the bottom line, he elevated his fastball. They could not catch up to it, and as a result, he had a great game.
All right, let's not forget about the offense. The A's lead the American League in total runs scored in the very early going, and Samfold quietly really off to a great start. He's got 12 hits, Ray, and 6 of them are extra base hits out of the leadoff spot.
They call him Super Sam for his outfield play, but he's been outstanding. Swinging the bat. He started the game last night with a double down the left field line. He took a 3-1, went to 3-2. Did hit a double a little bit later. He's on the base path. He's doing a great job, but nobody will ever forget what he can do with the glove, as he shows on this place. This play, there's no doubt that nobody thought he's going to get to it. All of a sudden, here he comes out of nowhere, diving to make a spectacular play, and that is why I put a cape on him, because they do call him Super Sam for a reason.
Well, it has been a series. Everything going right for the A's, pitching, defense, and hitting, and they'll hope that continues tonight here at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Up next, we're going to head back inside the A's pregame live studios for an update, and then we'll come back to the ballpark for lineups and first pitch.
Jack's Hottest Sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. By Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places. And by DraftKings.com. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code SLIDER for free entry.
So welcome back to Minute Maid Park here in Houston. It's the A's and the Astros, and as we said, A's going for the sweep. This 3-game set, and then it'll be on to Kansas City with an off day tomorrow. A's have played extremely well in this series, and they'll try to continue that tonight. The roof is open. That's exciting. Here's the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Admission free. Visit online for park hours at beachboardwalk.com. It's 77 degrees, a very nice day in Houston. Actually, really not a lot of humidity, which how often are you going to say that in Houston? But nice day, roof is open with some light clouds in the sky. Lineup for the A's tonight has the red-hot Sam Fuld in leadoff spot, and then Mark Canha. Josh Reddick slides up to the 3rd spot. Butler will DH. Davis, Vogt, Laurie, Sogard, and Simeon. There's your A's lineup.
And one of the hottest pitchers for the Astros is on the mound tonight, Colin McHugh, and he has done a very good job for this Astro team. And in fact, go back to last April, almost a year ago, he pitched very well against the Athletics. Almost had the complete game, 8 2/3, and came out of the game, gave up just 2 hits, and one time retired 19 consecutive batters. So an assortment of pitches, including a couple of fastballs, curveball, slider, and changeup. And one of the guys that really has proven himself and in this rotation for A.J. Hinch.
So behind Colin McHugh, here's the defense. Grossman, Marisnik, Springer in the outfield. Valbuena at 3rd, Lowry at short, Altuve at 2nd, Carter at 1st, and Jason Castro is the catcher. So we're set to go.
The PA announcer said, get out your score sheet and let's give you the lineup. Well, everybody's wearing number 42, so they're all names are different, but the number's the same tonight. Is everybody wearing the 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson on Jackie Robinson Day.
Colin McHugh kicks, fires, and the first pitch of the game is in for a strike. So we're underway from Minute Maid Park. Sam Fuld, 3 hits in the series, a couple of doubles, a couple of walks, make that 1 walk. He's got 3 runs scored, all good in this series for Sam Fuld. Tim Welke's calling balls and strikes, and he is also the crew chief.
And the number 42 on his right sleeve, as the umpires have their own numbers for their names. But in the case of tonight, the umpires also wearing 42.
So 1-2 to Fuld, Canada follow, and then Reddick. Little flare into foul territory, drops foul. So Colin McHugh is 27 years old, and he was a waiver claim from the Rockies, Ray, in December of 2013, and then you said that fine season last year with a 2.73 ERA. Originally drafted, signed by the Mets. So he's bounced around a little bit, but he was very good last year. He has not lost a game since August 12th of last year. Curve kind of hung up there, but Fuld swings and misses, and that's out number 1.
27th of April last year here in Houston, and he just dealt and came within 1 out of a complete game. And there were some that we talked to on the way out, thought he would not be with the club when the A's came back to Houston, but here he is starting and a very important member of this rotation.
When it was all said and done, he finished 4th in the American League Rookie of the Year voting. That's how good he was.
Pretty good pitcher strike zone tonight by the crew chief Tim Wilkie. Mark Canha was in the on deck circle. For some reason went back to the dugout to get a different bat as he was watching Sam Fold hit.
(11-9) and the good ERA. He did spend a bit of time on the disabled list, but more strikeouts than innings pitched. So we've seen a fastball at 88, 89, that one at 93.
Left it up, ball running inside, so has some movement on it. 2-4 seam fastball, and he will top at about 93, but he'll vary it.
Canha 333 with a homer and 7 RBIs. Curve in there, strike 3 call.
See, Castro went to the fastball. McHugh stared at him and went to the curveball. So it looks like his go-to pitch is this one, and it's a very good curveball. 12-6 and throw for a strike. And to get the strikeout, Canha could do nothing except watch it. You watch McHugh pitch and you're thinking Drew Pomeranz has to match it because he's pitching well. Granted, first 2 hitters, but he is capable of doing exactly what he's doing now.
2 outs for Reddick. Reddick hitting in the 3rd spot with the shift on. Ben Zobrist not in the lineup tonight. He's got a little bit of a sore heel, we're told. So he gets to rest that a little bit and an off day tomorrow. So really it's 2 days off, but really it's even more than that, Ray, because you're not playing again until Friday night. It's 2.5 days off.
But the way the A's do things, he'll be ready to pinch hit if necessary. And being a switch hitter, that could work out to benefit the Athletics if they need to do that, decide to do it.
That one hit foul. One hops the wall right into the hands of Mike Gallego.
Josh Reddick had 3 infielders on the right side. This guy, an outstanding second baseman himself. I don't know if he ever was involved in the shift, but there's the shift against Reddick. Only 1 to the left side. Pitch him outside, he will be a little bit more inclined to go that direction.
You know, that's a good one. We need to ask Mike Gallego, get his thoughts about the shift. And yeah, did you ever shift on anybody back in the 80s, 90s?
Huh?
No.
We'll get that, huh? No.
What are you talking about? He looks good. Looks like he could still play.
Definitely could pick it.
Curve and a good one. And Colin McHugh strikes out the side in the top of the 1st inning. Looks like the breaking ball is pretty good tonight. Drew Pomeranz set to go to work for the A's. has the familiar Jose Altuve in the leadoff spot. Then it's Springer, Lowry, Gaddis, Carter, Valbuena, Grossman, Castro, and Marisnik.
And Drew Pomeranz makes the start for the Athletics. Not his second of the season. His first against the Mariners at the Coliseum, and was outstanding. So he wants to continue that tonight. See all those zeros. Couple of hits against the Mariners in 7 innings. Had the 6 strikeouts, and we showed in our open the elevated fastball, which worked very, very well for Drew Pomeranz. And it looks like he is going to continue pitching out of the stretch, which he pitches very well. And he's very confident with the stretch position, even in the starting rotation. Okay, Altuve's ready.
Yeah, we're going to wait for Jose Altuve until he's ready, and then we can get the inning going. Fouls the first pitch back. Altuve with the pant legs pulled up high in the stirrups. Looks like George Springer in the on-deck circle has the same look.
Well, these are actually the stirrups. You can see the white sanitary underneath, and
that one is belted to the gap, and nobody's going to get it. And Altuve is going to hit the bag at second, make a big turn, and stop there. And you could tell right off the crack of the bat that nobody was going to get it. It split the gap perfectly.
We talked about the elevated fastball against Seattle. Well, that was more of a fastball below the belt, which means all Altuve had to do is let Pomeranz provide the power, drop the head of the bat, and I think the A's are fortunate that it was just a double. Good job, Sam Fuld, getting to the ball.
First double of the year after 47 last year. Here's Springer. Remember yesterday in the game, the A's got a leadoff double, and they executed nicely. Moved him over and then got him in with a sacrifice fly. Let's see what the Astros do with their leadoff double. And remember, they are a team that is scuffling big time to score runs. They have scored 17 runs in 8 games. 17 runs. That's it. Pomeranz, that's who they're facing. He's got a scoreless streak going. 1-0 pitch to Springer. Swing and a miss. Big swing.
And if he stays up in that zone, that's the pitch that enabled him to have the 6 strikeouts. He's also saying it throws about an 87-mile-an-hour batting practice fastball, which is like a changeup, a little bit harder than a traditional changeup.
Okay. Altuve goes in there without a throw.
Stephen Vogt could see all this happening. He couldn't do anything about it. All Pomeranz had to do was look back again. Look there, and he would have gotten him, but he had the one look. Vogt, the best thing he did was not throw, but well, that's why you change your looks, whether first or second.
So Altuve is 3rd this year after 56 last year.
Well, last year, remember one time he tried to steal third and was thrown out in a similar situation, and everybody said, what is he doing? But that time he got a running lead and continued to go. And there's Gary Pettis, now with the Astros, coaching third with the Rangers and Ron Washington the last several years.
And 3-1 fastball, swing and a miss, and actually the count was not 3-1.
They must have called the pitch that
they did, yeah.
That they called when Vogt or when
on the stolen base.
Yeah, on the stolen base, because that was swing and miss. Had him at the 3-1 like you, and so that's a good break because that's exactly what he needed. Big strikeout.
So here's Lowry, infield in. Fastball for a strike in the outside corner. So Ray, how about this? The Houston Astros are now 5 for 49 with runners in scoring position this year. 5 for 49. That's a 102 batting average.
So you're hoping that it could be another 2 more.
5 for 50. Good swing there by Lowry, but the count is 0-2. There's the offensive struggles.
As we talked, you got to get them while they're struggling and take advantage of it.
And the 79 strikeouts, most in all of baseball. Got in on Lowry a little bit, but he was able to fight it off. Astros 3-5 on the year. They'll be off tomorrow. Host the Angels this weekend. Astros will get their second off day of the year tomorrow. A's will get their first tomorrow. Curve and a pretty good take by Lowry. A nice downward break to it.
And a knuckle curve, and it's a tough pitch to lay off, and Lowry did as the ball was out of the strike zone. Colin McHugh, right-hander. A couple of strikes out top of the inning with a good curve ball. Go elevated fastball. You could go another curve ball, BP fastball. You could do a lot of things, and now Stephen Vogt decides he's going to go through them again. It's a curve ball.
Stayed around the plate to even the count at 2-2. So Altuve led it off with a double, stole third. Marlins got one big out with Springer. And that one is belted to left field, and the Astros are going to have a 2-0 lead. Third home run of the year for Jed Lowry, and he hit that one a ton.
It's almost as if he knew when he missed the curveball that he's going to come back with a fastball inside, because Jed, watch how quickly he turns on the fastball inside. It's like he knew it was coming. He's elevated a little bit. He got to it before he could do anything other than hit it with a no doubt on the end of it.
So the Astros grab the lead here in the bottom of the first. And here's Evan Gattis. Gattis with a couple of hits in this series. His first 2 hits of the year. He's 2 for 28. Strike. Towards center, Fold goes back and over just a little bit. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
Well, he hit the home run in the second game that broke up the no-hitter. Hit it from the right side. It's hanging on the left-hander. Hit Lowry, so he's now 3 home runs, 4 runs batted in, as the 2 home runs were solos prior to tonight's.
Here's Carter, shift on. Carter misses the first one, 0-1. Carter is 2 for 26 with 10 strikeouts to start the season. Swing and a miss. There's that good fastball, maybe elevated just a little bit, but it looked like it has a little tailing movement away from the right-handed hitters.
And that's what he was trying to do with Lowry, just did not get it in that far. And as we've talked with the left-hander to right-hander, catcher sets off the plate inside a little bit more like that to try to get him to finish inside.
Jam shot. Mike Davis backhands behind the bag at first, steps on the bag, side retired. Jed Lowry with a 2-run homer, and it's the Astros 2, the A's nothing after 1. that make a difference. Visit csncalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. Jed Lowry home run, 2-0 Astros. Colin McHugh struck out the side in the top of the first. He'll face Butler, Davis, and Vogt. So what do you think Billy Butler's going to do on his day off tomorrow in Kansas City, the place where he played his whole career?
Probably throw a party or something, maybe. I don't know.
It's not a terrible idea.
It's an off day. Maybe get the guys together. Who knows? But I think you'll be looking forward. The Royals are playing so well. There's going to be a big crowd over the weekend. Probably all 3 games. And Billy coming back is probably going to bring a few extras. And I would say they'll make it a point of being a nice presentation of the American League Championship ring for him.
Royals are just getting underway in Minnesota. Volquez and Gibson, the starting pitcher matchup there with the Royals and the Twins. Grounded up the middle, and that's going to get through for a base hit. So Butler rolls one into center field. So leadoff man is on for Ike Davis.
Another 2-strike hit by Big Country Breakfast, and a curveball. Left it up a little bit, did McHugh, and getting some plate coverage is Billy Butler. I think, as you said, he's going to have some good numbers regardless going back over the weekend and be very impressive, and that does keep his hit streak alive. It's a 10-game now that he's thinking about that hit every game for the Athletics to start the season.
Up and away to Ike Davis. Hey, he's got an A's record, Billy Butler.
That's right.
Longest hit streak to start an A's career, Billy Butler. 10 games, 2015. Alfredo Griffin, 9 in 85. Rick Peters in 83. Mitchell Page in 77. Remember Rick Peters?
Yeah.
Do you? Is he an outfielder?
Yeah. Ricky Peters. Yeah. Matter of fact, you forgot how many outs there were. The night that former manager, or a manager became a former manager for the Athletics back in the mid-'80s.
Broken bat, center field, and that's a base hit.
Matter of fact, he was at third, the runners at second and third. And Bob Didier was coaching third. As broken bat, he'll take it. And there was a walk. And as the runner was going to first to load the bases, Ricky decided he was going to try to score. He out. I mean, it's amazing how certain things kind of remind us. It's hard to bring up.
Was that part of his hitting streak?
That part, no. But now he's a good player. He's speed. But you have to know how many outs there are.
Generally, that helps your situation. Stephen Vogt with a chance to pick up an RBI. Vogt hitting .346. He's got 9 hits in 26 at bat, double, triple, and a home run. A's hitter off to a good start.
That is Jason Castro at his best right there. He does a very good job of blocking balls and very good receiver. And a good hitter on top of it. Just struggling like a lot of the hitters. But watch this block. I mean, that's textbook. That's called a block. And that's all catchers want to do is block the ball, not catch it, block it. Jason Castro very good at that.
Swing and miss by Vogt. Actually got a little bit of piece of it. Foul tip into the glove. So now he's behind in the count 1-2.
Well, he just missed this. A pretty good pitch to hit. Stephen Vogt, one of the actually 2 guys tonight playing. Evan Gattis and Stephen Vogt just stand out at no batting gloves, either one of them.
So 2-2 the count with Brett Lawrie set to hit next. They've scored 12 runs in the first 2 games of this series. And now full count.
But it is early, and as always we say, when you get down, just try to get on the board somehow, some way, and they expect Stephen Vogt to pull the ball. And of course, Stephen, as we have seen, outfield playing shallow, straight up, but Stephen Vogt with that hole on the left side, he will use the whole field. In fact, his game winner against the Tigers a couple of years ago was an opposite field base hit that brought home the winning run. Great postseason at bat by Stephen Vogt.
3-2 pitch. He tried to hold up, couldn't do it.
Wow. He knows it's ball 4, and he knew, unfortunately, he went too far. And that is one you'll think about it a little bit, but he has to quickly forget about it as a catcher. But there he starts, and oh, I don't even think an appeal was necessary. I think Stephen would have had a gift. He was hoping as he went down to take off his shin guard, but I think he knew.
Going for the sell job.
Yep.
So 1 away, 4th strikeout for McHugh. Laurie hitting at .257. He's got 9 hits and 35 at bats with a couple of doubles. His first home run as an Athletic in this series. For a strike. So 1-1. Wings as a team this year hitting well over 300 with runners in scoring position. And again, all these numbers are very early in the year. And there's a shot foul. They've got a lot of big hits already. This was the home run by Laurie, and this was on Monday night, and it was a long one.
He was running hard. He did not assume, and of course was finally told it was a home run, but he knew he had crushed it and figured it was going to be. But the lines in left center are a little bit tricky. You have to pay attention, especially the umpires, to see where the ball lands.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So that's 5 strikeouts for Colin McHugh. And that pitch right there, Ray, it's 88 miles an hour. It's not his breaking ball. It cuts a little bit.
It does throw a slider, but that's pretty hard for what would be considered a slider. But again, not a bad pitch to hit, seeing how he wrapped under a little bit and had the spin on it. But maybe just the fact that it was a little bit slower than his good fastball.
But you said it right. It is spinning like a breaking ball, but.
And that takes some of the velocity off, and that is enough to fool a hitter.
He may be one of those guys who gets a lot of swings and misses, and sometimes you're like, how did you miss that?
Yeah, exactly.
Now he's got the good curveball, which he will get swings and misses on that. But not necessarily a real hard thrower. Up to Sogard, and a quick 0-2. So a couple of good pitches to start the at-bat to Sogard.
Well, the A's had used the same lineup 3 consecutive games. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, changed tonight, as you mentioned, with Zobrist not playing, and Eric Sogard back to the second base position. It's really the only change in the lineup as far as the personnel, different spots, but they'd have been playing the outfield and second base. Reddick coming back more at second.
Butler and Davis are your runners. Ball high. Outfield very shallow and a little bit toward left center field. And remember, a ball to the outfield. Butler does not run well at all.
That's why they have to go to the gap, similar to what Sogard did on Sunday in the 9th inning, tying the game with a base hit left center. Plus, he can go in contact. Butler can with 2 outs.
So a tough decision for Mike Gallego, because you really got to kind of know exactly where the ball is headed. If it's right at an outfielder, you may not be able to send Butler, especially center and left.
Well, as Gag said, it's pretty good outfield as far as their ability to get to balls and also their arm strength, which good third base coach knows all of that information.
Base hit right field. Here comes Springer, and they're going to hold Butler up. Springer has a very good arm, and he showed it right there. Not a lot you can do, folks. I mean, it's a line drive to an outfielder playing a little bit shallow who's got a very good arm.
Got the curveball. Great swing by Sogard, and could not hit it any harder. And unfortunately, right to Springer if it goes to his right or left. But Springer, as we showed early, robbing Martin of a grand slam on Sunday in Arlington, Texas. And what Zobrist did Monday night, turning a single into a double against the arm of Springer in right field, that was really impressive.
So now it'll be up to Semien. A little bit inside with the first pitch. Semien is 2 for 8 with a home run in this series. Overall 286 the average with a homer and 7 RBIs. High pop-up foul. That one kind of a hanger, and a good swing by Semien.
Well, something that's lost in this inning, and it's something that could have benefited the Athletics. And unfortunately, Jason Castro didn't let it happen because he blocked a couple of balls in the dirt, not allowing 2 runners to move into scoring position. And that is big because the A's would have scored at least 1 on Sogard's base hit. But blocking ball is a very important part of a catcher's job.
There's that sneaky fastball. He ran in a little bit, and the count is 1-2. 25 pitches in this inning for Colin McHugh.
I remember he told us he's looking away and adjusting inside. That ball was supposed to be outside, but it kept running in from the right-hander.
1-2 is grounded in the hole. It's not going to be an easy play. The throw to first, not in time. Run scores. Lowry's throw just did not have enough on it. Semien runs well.
Now they're going to. AJ Hinch is out in front of the dugout. They're going to maybe check on that one to see. But you're right, it was not hit hard, and plus Semien was out of the box. He runs well. Jed Lowry tried to circle around it, and Ty Waller's calling him safe. Jed Lowry right there. That does not allow. And boy, the last quick step by Semien, and I think they decided he is safe, and I think that's a good call by AJ Hinch to let it go, because that is a great job of hustling by Semien. And how many times where you see a hitter's full on a breaking ball, he's running out of the batter's box. He doesn't take the full swing, and that helps Semien get out of the box quickly to beat it out.
So it's an RBI, number 8 for Semien, and now here's 4. So 4 hits in this inning. All 5 outs the A's have made in this game have been strikeouts. Bounced right over the bag at second, but right there's Lowry. Steps on the bag side, retired. A run on 4 hits for the A's. So the bottom of the second is coming up. Astros 2, A's 1. Glenn Kuiper from Minute Maid Park here in downtown Houston, and the roof is open and it's a beautiful night. A's will come back here in May 18th, 19th, and 20th. May not be able to have the roof open. Maybe getting toasty already at that point.
You know, to be honest, I think this probably will be the last game the A's will be here when the roof is open. I think we're just finished with a nice night here in downtown Houston. Has been very refreshing with the roof open, with the rain cooling it off a little bit, taking some of the humidity out.
Valbuena, Grossman, and Castro. Well, we walked back from the game last night to our hotel. It's about a 12-15 minute walk, and it was beautiful. Nice little breeze.
I don't think we're going to walk to Kansas City tonight.
We will not be doing that.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we walk to the hotel from Kansas City Kauffman Stadium either. That's a put.
They're expecting some rain in Kansas City on Saturday. Just talked to Mickey Morabito, director of travel, and he keeps a very close eye on the weather, and he said that they're concerned about Saturday. 100%.
But where?
Kauffman Stadium. hopefully everywhere but Kauffman Stadium. So we may have to deal with that this weekend.
Well, you say that in the 72 World Series in Oakland. It rained, but not all over Oakland. Just enough to
stay away from the Truman Sports Complex in Kansas City. Curve, roll toward Ike Davis. He gets a nice hop for the first out. Twins are leading the Royals 1-0 in the third inning in Minnesota. And the Royals and Twins will play a day game tomorrow. And the Royals will head home and get ready for the A's. Looking forward to. Well, we like Kansas City. Nice ballpark. Nice place to stay. And after what the Royals did last year, when that ballpark has a decent amount of people in it, it's got a good buzz to it.
Well, if they continue to play the way they are, it will have a big buzz.
It'll start jumping.
Yeah, it will be packed, and Bill would think, Butler would say, they're all coming back for me. That's pretty good, man.
But lately, before really last year, I mean, you'd get maybe one big crowd per series, but maybe that'll change a little bit. 1-2 to Robbie Grossman playing left field. Colby Rasmus out against the left-hander. Castro waits in the on-deck circle. Good curve, and that's the second strikeout for Pomeranz.
That's a good curveball, and that's the one that Jed Lowry did not swing at before he hit the home run on the fastball. But the knuckle curve, you see it coming out of his hand and spikes it down, keeps it down, and I tell you, amazing with the curve. Look where it seems like this pitch is. It looks like it's going to be belt high. If you don't recognize the spin as a hitter on a curveball like that, it's going to continue to break, and you're going to swing over it. He did foul tip it, as Tim Welke indicated. Caught by Stephen Vogt.
Here's Castro. Well, we talk a lot about how, where does the pitch cross over the knee. Now watch where this pitch goes past the knee. That's a strike, and look where it's caught.
Exactly.
So that, from the front of home plate to where the catcher caught it, which is probably what, Ray, 3 feet?
3 feet.
Look how much the ball drops.
Exactly. And that's exactly my contention a lot of times, where a catcher will catch it low and people will say, how could that be a strike? But it's crossing the knees, especially if it's a curveball like that. And that's why umpires will recognize, as a catcher, you can't stand on home plate. You get hit in the back of the head. You have the catcher's interference all night. So you have to figure out how far you're going to set up behind the hitter so you're not interfering with his swing, because that is catcher's interference. But umpires also have to recognize, as they do, there is the distance. I mean, they're even farther back, and I've seen umpires who've gotten farther back. I mean, there was some that just took about 3 or 4 feet behind the catcher. So Tim Welke will adjust.
Do you think umpires, as the game gets started, or even before the game, I mean, they know how pitchers pitch? They know if a guy has a big breaking ball. Do you think they go in thinking, okay, I know this guy's got a big curveball. I need to keep a closer eye on the low curve.
Right. Now the thing with Barry Zito, and you're exactly right, with Barry, they would see it up top and they would give up on it. It'd break sharply into the strike zone, but they had already committed to call a ball.
Grounded the other way, but right at Laurie, and a very good inning for Drew Pomeranz. We're moving to the third from Houston. Astros 2, A's 1. First major league win, pitched into the 6th inning, gave up 4 hits, 3 strikeouts, 96 pitches, and a big double play there. And we got a beverage shower when he headed into the clubhouse. So congratulations to Kendall Graveman. He's got a win.
He'll take a shower like that anytime for a W. And I thought it was great as he was talking to us last night, and he said, my uncle showed up, and then we showed the uncle, and he was right there. Can you imagine walking back and you're trying to get your first major league win, and you hear this recognizable voice and say, I know that voice. And look up and it's your uncle. Where did they come from? How'd they get here? That's neat, though.
Top of the third, Canna, Reddick, and Butler. Graveman will pitch in Anaheim. Probably the first game of that series. So he'll get his first taste of the A's. Angels squaring off.
Angels are playing pretty good baseball.
And they won today 10-2 over the Rangers. So they win 2 out of 3. Now in Trout's hot. Trout had 3 hits. He's hitting .438 on the year. Hector Santiago, the left-hander, got his first win of the year, going 7 innings. So. And he went around. Canna thought he held up, but Tim Welke, the home plate umpire, just said, I don't need to check.
Yep. Yeah, he did go quite too far in that top head of the bat. Maybe hitters just don't realize that whenever they swing, that top head just keeps going, the end of the bat. Try to hold it up.
So that's 6 strikeouts for Colin McHugh, and here's Reddick.
Well, you mentioned about Garrett Richards. Looks like that may be more true than anything, because it looks like if everything goes well, he probably will be ready to pitch next week. And when you play a team in a 4-game series, you're going to see. Well,
I also read too that they may be thinking about Sunday for him. Sunday would be right in line because he pitched on Tuesday.
Well, that's true. Yes.
But they may also wait a day, so we'll see.
That would be here, right? If they come in to play the Astros.
Exactly.
Yeah. I see they're doing like it's supposed to. Go to Arlington, they come to Houston, and go home.
Big time.
Yeah.
In fact, they may be here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I played the
day game and quick flight from Arlington up to Houston. In fact, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if our Angel counterparts, Victor Rojas, Mark Gubicza, probably here.
Probably not here.
Probably here.
If they did, they just came in to get the ice cream in the press room.
Preparation for their big series over the weekend. Down the left field line, but just foul.
Now, when you see Gobi and Victor on Monday in Anaheim, you ask them.
I'm going to say, hey, you guys didn't. I know you're at the game Wednesday night. You guys didn't come up and say hi. It'd be an entertaining response, I'm sure, from our good friends from the Angels. Three and two to Reddick. Reddick struck out in the first. Hits that one hard, but right at Chris Carter. Carter stays down on it. And that's out number 2. So Reddick 0 for 2. Yeah, the Angels, after a little bit of a slow start, now 4 and 5 on the year.
Well, as we talked at the beginning of this series about at what point do you really take notice of a team, good, bad, or indifferent, but I think the Angels, and you know, they're starting to write articles about players who have gotten off to great starts and teams that have gotten off to great starts. It's a long season, and nobody panics, especially if you had success, either as an individual player or as a team. If you've had success and you get off to a slow start, no big deal.
Yeah, there's too many good players on that team.
Right.
And they had the most wins in all of baseball last year. Certainly the Josh Hamilton situation is a strange situation, kind of hanging over their heads. But to me, that's almost more of a front office situation now.
And evidently, reading an article today, he's in town. He's in Houston area. And with the Angels coming in, there's some question about whether he will come out here to see the teammates, or the teammates will make an effort to go see him wherever he is here, trying to get back and rehab from his surgery. But the game is played every day. There are a few off days, but by and large, it's a game that's played for 6 months, 162 games. And what you do at the beginning, you want to continue the middle and the end, whether you're a team or individual, and have a consistent season. And that's very easy to say, hard to do.
Billy Butler had a base hit to center field leading off the second inning, and then he scored.
And we'll try to get Billy Butler to chase a bad pitch, but he's pretty disciplined. And if you pitch him outside, he'll usually try to go to right field.
And that one inside. Butler pulls back out of the way. Full count.
If that was a front door slider, you see Castro call the slider moved inside. So McHugh, as some pitchers do, matter of fact, the most infamous with the number 42. Before he retired, Mariano Rivera would throw the front door cut fastball, freeze the hitter, and catch the inside corner. McHugh tried to do it with the slider.
And he did it there, and it catches the inside corner, and Billy Butler's chewing on Welke pretty good.
I think he might be right, because if he's at that point, it's got to break, and maybe it didn't.
So 7 strikeouts through the first 3 innings for Colin McHugh as the A's go in order in the third. Billy Butler disagreeing on this pitch.
Went back to the same front door slider, and this time called a strike. And Billy Butler didn't like it, but I think what you said between innings was exactly what is true, and that is when a hitter argues, umpire said it's a strike. He said it came back into the strike zone. Billy Butler didn't think so, and Tim Welke kept him in the game.
Well, yeah, and I think my point is he explained it to him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't I'm going to get in your face, and then the batter umpire go back and forth, and then, you know what, then they're going to throw him out because he's arguing balls and strikes.
Exactly.
At least Tim Wilkie explained it. He had a few words, and then he put his head down, and that was it.
Well, and really that is the way. And the guy could say all he wants as long as the umpire doesn't chase after him. Leave him alone. Let him say his piece because he's upset that he took strike 3.
And we're not saying we thought it was a strike. We're saying, well, at least he explained it, and he let Butler argue a little bit. First pitch, good curveball to Jose Altuve, snaps in their first strike. Altuve ripped one to left center field and ended up with a double. Stole a base, scored a run in the first inning, and it's a quick 0-2 to Altuve.
Well, what Butler was upset about is the same thing that what Tim Wilkie is doing, and that is calling strikes. I mean, he is calling really a lot of pitches and more or less saying to the hitter, swing the bat.
Yeah, and the pitches in this at bat to Altuve, I mean, they're borderline strikes as well because they're going around the plate a little bit. But if you're a pitcher, hey, I'll take that every time. Tried it again. This time it stayed a little bit too far outside. 2-2 the count.
Trying to say the curveball after Altuve crushed a fastball in his first at bat, but that was on a 1-0 pitch.
Shallow right. Reddick dives in. He caught it.
It's a tremendous play.
That was an awesome play by Reddick.
Well, the great thing, anytime Reddick leaves his feet, you're just hoping, praying that he doesn't hurt himself, and maybe he did because he's grimacing a little bit. Ball slicing in, diving quickly. Reddick puts his glove on the ground, catches, spins over, shows the ball in his glove that he's got it. No short hop on this one. Tremendous play, and a play like that, you have to break immediately in. We talk about an outfielder, if he breaks back a half a step, he'll never get to it the way Reddick just did. Sam Ford did on Monday night. Drew Pomeranz loves it. That's a tremendous play.
Then you worry about the wrist.
Yep.
It's jammed a little bit. I did not, and we don't say this very much with Reddick, I did not think he was going to get there off the crack of the bat because it was not hit very hard.
And, you know,
I should know better.
Well, we should know better that Reddick is not going to half step it. He's going to play hard all the way. And the key there is he put the glove down with the palm up. So he had the glove essentially on the ground, not trying to backhand it and do things like that, and knew that he's going to have to tumble a somersault, get back up, and he does it perfectly.
He may catch this one. Springer drops him in front of Reddick for a 2-out single.
When Reddick hurt himself a couple of years ago here, banging again to the sidewall, or scaled the screen last year. Michael Moore's robbed him a couple home runs in spring training against the wire fence. He says, I only play the game one way. And that's just where he got hurt a couple of years ago and had a wrist injury. But there's no way a player who plays as aggressively as Josh Reddick does that you could tell him to don't be as aggressive, and it's just not going to happen.
Springer bluffs going, pitches way high to Jed Lowry. Lowry with the 2-run homer in the first inning. Well, that area where Reddick got hurt a couple years ago, it's different now. It's all padded now. But when he got hurt, it was kind of like a real firm chain link fence. And he banged into it pretty good. there's always going to be the concrete down at the bottom. The guys get hurt on that too.
I think of Bobby Valentine when he played for the Angels many years ago. The fence in Anaheim, he got his foot caught under it, and that was an ugly, ugly situation. He dealt with a bad ankle his whole career, his whole life, really. It's amazing the attention one John Lester is getting for that simple play right there, throwing to first base. And all they've been talking about this week is the fact that John Lester does not throw to first that often. Did a couple of nights ago against Cincinnati and made an errant throw. But
okay, be honest with me. 3 years ago, did you know about this?
Nobody knew about it till last year, towards the end of the year.
I never knew that.
Exactly. And you know, the thing that really comes out now is the fact that, as someone said, if you're a player, why talk about it? Why not just let it go? Because you're going to continue to do what you're going to do. But now people have brought it out. He'll work on it, and he'll start throwing over more. And it'll take away what players had. Look at Kansas City last year in that playing game. I mean, they were running just unbelievably against him. He didn't throw over then either.
But it sounds like he played 6-7 years with the Red Sox, and I never heard anything about the throws to first. First time I heard of it was when he got to the A's, and I remember there was an article that said he hasn't thrown to first since last year.
They said June of 2013, and now they're reporting April, like 67 starts. But you know, just the fact, I mean, it's rampant around baseball about that, you know, and now that teams know it's going to force him to throw over whatever, but I just think it's much to do about nothing.
Good jump there. Ball's hit down the right field line. This could be trouble, and it's fair. Rattles around in the corner, and with Springer on the move, he's going to score. And Jed Lowry has knocked in 3 against his old team.
Well, as soon as Drew Pomeranz lifted his front foot, Springer was going curveball this time, and Jed Lowry, this time with a couple of strikes, hit the curveball down the right field line. And the key there was Springer going on the pitch by Pomeranz, so he was going to be able to score easily. Probably would have anyway with his speed.
So homer double, 3 RBIs for Lowry. Here's Evan Gattis. Gattis taps it slowly. And Brett Lowry, nice play. Make that Brett Lowry. I knew I was going to screw that up at some point.
Well, they're both here tonight.
Yeah.
I've already done it.
So a run for the Astros. We're headed to the 4th. They lead the A's 3-1. the major leagues. There's the career for Jackie Robinson. He was the 1947 Rookie of the Year, the 1949 National League MVP, won a World Series in '55, Hall of Fame in '62. So it was April 15th of 1947 when he went to the big leagues with the Brooklyn Dodgers.
And all players are wearing number 42, as we mentioned, the umpires, but it was Ken Griffey Jr. who called Bud Selig, the commissioner at the time, a few years ago, and he said, I would love to wear the number 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson. And so Bud Selig, the commissioner, said, well, let me talk to Rachel, the widow of Jackie Robinson, to see what she thinks.
He throws, and they got him. Jed Lowry with a nice play. Shift was on, and the ball squirted right under the legs of Colin McHugh.
Like Davis wishes he had a little bit more speed, because this is a base hit. In a lot of cases, especially hit off the end of the bat, once it got past McHugh, just could not beat it out. But when Ken Griffey Jr. wanted to wear number 42, that's when the commissioner called Rachel Robinson and said, what about everybody wearing 42? And that kind of started it. And it was a result of initially Ken Griffey Jr. appreciating what Jackie Robinson meant. And whereas I think everybody recognizes that now, as we have found out throughout baseball on this special day.
There's the Jackie Robinson Foundation, which is founded by his wife way back in 1973.
I had the privilege of interviewing Don Newcomb whenever the A's were in Los Angeles in 2009, two-part series, and I just ran it again because of this special time. And I mean, it was because Don Newcomb, Roy Campanella, and Jackie Robinson all came up around the same time. I remember asking Don Newcomb, why Jackie? He said because he could handle it. He knew what was going to be happening when Branch Rickey decided to bring him up and sign him to the contract. He said he was the smartest catcher he'd ever thrown to. He said the night before he would pitch, he said he would have, they were roommates, and he said we would go over the hitters. And Roy Campanella would tell me what to throw to the hitters. And he said I shook him off 3 times in my whole career. Hit 3 home runs off of me. Campy said, don't shake me off. I told you I know what I'm talking about. But he was quite a man. And as Don Newcomb said, when he lost him at a very young age, he said he lost the best friend he ever had.
And you feel like people like Jackie Robinson should not pass away at a young age.
Exactly.
And he did.
I thought Nuke said too, because Branch Rickey told him, he said, you're going to be the one. It's because when somebody slaps you on one side of the face, you're going to have to turn the cheek and accept it. And Nuke said, if anybody tried to do that before they could slap him the other side, he'd be on the ground.
Yeah, he was
a strong man.
Yeah.
And so he said, well, he was told that, but evidently he was such a strong individual that he was able to do exactly what was necessary during that period of time.
Stephen Vogt strikes out for the second time. But he was a terrific all-around athlete at UCLA. Really only played 1 season of baseball at UCLA, but he was a track star, a football star.
Well, that's why he was so fast on the base paths. And see him there stealing. He stole home with Yogi Berra, the famous shot of Yogi putting the glove down and being called safe.
Here's Laurie. I always feel like, too, like on Jackie Robinson Day, you should always mention Larry Doby as well.
Absolutely.
Just a couple of months later, Larry Doby became the first black player in the American League. And really, like, just a couple of months later.
Exactly.
And Larry Doby was a terrific player.
He hit the ball, and Willie Mays, that infamous picture of Mays in center field at the Polo Grounds, catching, spinning, and falling down. That was Doby hit that ball. 54 World Series. So, no, he was great. By the way, that was a curveball that went to the backstop and Laurie swung at. So he's aggressive at the plate.
With a high fastball, and Laurie just got a piece. Basketball star. There's the football highlights.
Military, Rachel Robinson. The movie 42 was very well done. That showed the life of Jackie Robinson.
And a breaking ball, and Laurie chased it, and that is 9 strikeouts for Colin McHugh through 4 innings. So the A's having trouble picking up that breaking ball. 3-1 Astros. Collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. That looks good. In fact, maybe we're getting us ready for Kansas City. Barbecue on every corner in Kansas City, and that's okay. We'll be somewhere for lunch tomorrow.
My son-in-law Scott Dempsey is from that area, and every time he goes back there, Lindsay always say, you have to go to this barbecue. I said, there's so much barbecue there, just pick your place. They're all good.
They're all good. Carter, Valbuena, and Grossman here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Astros leading 3-1. 3 RBIs by Jed Lowry. That one popped right over our heads into the upper deck and then bounces all the way down to the lower deck.
You feel like me, Captain, every time Chris Carter swings, you think this is going to be the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it so often last year against the A's, and just hope he waits maybe till the Angels come in. That's another one just missed.
He hit 37 home runs last year. That's the same amount as Giancarlo Stanton, and only Nelson Cruz hit more home runs in all of the big leagues. 37.
Giancarlo got 300 plus.
Yes, he did. That's a good call. Now, these are the AL home run leaders with Cruz and Carter at the top, and then Abreu, Trout, Batista, and Ortiz. And with Carter, and he hits them very, very far. I don't know that he gets a whole lot of cheapies here.
No.
I mean, he's just a guy that he doesn't need a ballpark to help him.
Well, the one I remember last year, fortunately, the A's had a 2-run lead because he had a chip shot to right field. You figured it's going to be a fly ball to the warning track. Next thing you know, circling the bases, another home run.
The right field in this ballpark is pretty fair, I think. But you can get there with some power. Three-two pitch, good fastball, right in on the hands for strikeout number 3 for Pomeranz.
Well, same thing he did against the Mariners, and he just made the one mistake to Jed Lowry, but this was perfect location inside. Started, pulled the hands in, tried to, and if he makes contact, he's strong enough to do some damage, but Drew Pomeranz threw perfectly in the inside part of the plate.
Here's Valbuena, lefty on lefty. Valbuena grounded out to first. His first at bat. Good curve for a strike. Valbuena is 3 for 8 in the series. New third baseman for the Astros. Matt Dominguez in the minor leagues after being the starting third baseman for the last 2 years for the Astros. Jonathan Singleton, the power hitting first baseman, also in the minor league. Singleton may need a little more time down there.
Well, you're talking about a couple of swing and miss guys, Dominguez and Singleton. And that's probably was their demise.
Sogard flips it, goes for a roll. Nice play, 2 outs.
Fans get the Sean Doolittle Silhouette Fleece Blanket presented by Kellymore Paints on Tuesday, May 12th, when the A's host the Boston Red Sox. 15,000 fans will walk away with this green and gold fleece blanket that pays homage to Sean Doolittle's signature pose. Get tickets now at athletics.com/tickets. Nobody makes that play better than Sogard. Charge, throw quickly, and leave his feet.
So with 2 outs, Robbie Grossman steps in. Grossman hits one high in the air toward Reddick, who drifts back. And that'll do it. 3 up, 3 down inning for Drew Pomeranz. 5th inning coming up. A's trailing by a pair. It'll be Sogard, Simeon, and Foley.
Good at every Friday home game, subject to availability. You can get 4 Plaza level tickets, 4 Coliseum hot dogs, 4 medium sodas, 4 bags of peanuts, and it's just $60. Go to athletics.com/family pack for details. You know, I think I'm going to let my beard grow until the Astros win a World Series, and I think we're looking at him right there.
I think you may be right. Started growing it in 1962.
It was dark when it started, but changed colors a little bit.
First pitch to Sogard for a strike. Top of the 5th, Sogard, Simeon, and Full.
One thing is a lot of strikeouts will do is get your pitch count up, and Colin McHugh's had 9 strikeouts, 71st pitch coming.
The changeup drops in there, and it's 0-2. Sogard had a line single to right in the 2nd inning. Fouls that one 2nd level. Hayes with 4 hits. But again, the 9 strikeouts. Last 11 games. Terrific numbers by Colin McHugh.
And don't expect a walk. You see that only 9 walks.
Coming off a very nice start. 6 innings, just 1 run against the Rangers in Arlington last week. And the big slow curve, foul tip, strikeout number 10. And Sogard, not a guy who strikes out a lot.
Well, 10 Ks right over the top with the curveball, and he's taking just enough off the curveball and ends up low to the ground, but crosses the knees at the zone. I don't know if the Hall of Famer is still sitting behind home plate, Nolan Ryan, but 10 strikeouts for him was kind of an every start occurrence.
I believe he is. I can see him down there.
Nolan Ryan, of course, his son Reed was there to start the game. Executive advisor. Nolan was telling me that whenever he grew up in Alvin, Texas, which is, he said, about 30 miles south of here. High school player. And of course, the Mets ended up drafting him. And he said, you know, the lights weren't that good. He said, if those kids knew what I knew, they would never step in the batter's box. He said, I was so wild. Yeah. But they did. And he said, they were playing a game that the winner was going to go to some regional. And he said, the first hitter came up, and he said, unfortunately, I hit him, split his helmet. The next hitter came up. He said, unfortunately, I hit him and broke his arm. He said the third hitter was the best hitter on the team. He ran down to the third base coach, who was the manager. He said, please don't let me hit against this guy. And Nolan was so wild, and that's really what helped him.
Well, he has to be impressed with Colin McHugh, who may not be throwing like the Ryan Express, but he's flipping some pretty good breaking balls in there. Watch this one.
Well, that's what Nolan had, a great curveball, but he threw it about 95, 98 with a fastball. So when he dropped the curveball, especially if it started at your head, you were going to duck out of the way. McHugh's are starting more in the middle of the plate and breaking down out of the strike zone. So maybe they can have him throw so many pitches he won't last long. This is a lot of pitches, but a lot of strikeouts also.
3 strikeouts in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 here in the fifth. And he's already 1 away from his career high. Inside 1-1. The second inning is what really got him. Outside of that, he really has not worked real hard in any inning, but 28 is a lot. Outside, strike 2 called, 1-2.
See him shaking Jason Castro. He's pretty much feels comfortable and confident with different pitches, and he's kind of calling his own game. And it's kind of a suggestion from Castro. And so there was a slider, curveball, fastball. Okay, let's go with a fastball away.
Very close. Boy, he hit the mitt exactly where Castro wanted it.
And at 93, pitch number 82 at 93, and you're exactly right. Just maybe a little bit low for Tim Wilkie, the veteran umpire.
It's a curveball belted toward right center. Springer can't get it, and it's going to roll into deep right center field. Fuld will try for third. Throw to third is not in time. Sam Fuld has a triple.
Well, Sam Fuld split the gap. Diving effort by Springer with the center fielder Rizek backing up. There's a backdoor slider that he left up, so maybe the number of pitches, and Springer playing shallow might have cost him a little bit there, but Rizek got to it. And you watch this play develop, and Sam Fuld is on his own. He's looking, and this is a triple on his own, but the throw, you could see it coming, and a little bit offline. Mike Gallego quickly going down to his knees, telling him to slide. So the only reason for that is a wild pitch and air, something happening. Otherwise, he's in scoring position at second. But Sam Fuld can run, and he showed us there.
First pitch strike to Canha, who has struck out looking and has struck out swinging.
And maybe by Fuld getting to third base, McHugh would not throw the curveball as much, and maybe the A's can get lucky and have Castro not be able to block one of them if it happens to be in the dirt.
That is a fair ball. Castro picks it up, fires to first, and they get Canha side retired. So bottom of the fifth coming up. Castro will lead it off. Then it'll be Marisnik and Altuve. 3-1 the Astros lead.
They had double, stole third, and got Lowry with a two-run shot, his third of the season. The only run for the Athletics, bases loaded. Marcus Semien with Lowry trying to throw him out, could not get enough on the throw, beat it out, barely. So that closed it to 2-1. But Colin McHugh has been outstanding. Good curveball and a front door slider that Billy Butler was called out on. Did not think it was a strike. So that's where it stands right now, with the Astros leading 3-1 in the series finale. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world.
Here's Castro, bottom of the fifth inning. Now, how about this, Ray? Tonight, Nashville Sounds are playing. A's AAA team, and Barry Zito is pitching. And they're playing Oklahoma City, which is the Dodgers AAA team.
Yeah.
And the starting pitcher for the Dodgers, or for Oklahoma City, I should say, is Freddie Garcia. It's Barry Zito versus Freddie Garcia tonight. Nashville versus Oklahoma City. Are you kidding me? I mean, those were two of the better pitchers in the American League for a while. Zito and Garcia.
Well, we know the story of Barry Zito. And really, you think about all the injuries. We talked about it in a couple of telecasts in the spring. All the injuries, the Tommy John surgeries. If you know how to pitch, and we saw Barry, and sure, Freddie Garcia is not overpowering, and he still knows how to pitch, but why not go to AAA? Continue to pitch, and all of a sudden you might get a call. They will have outs in their contracts to be able to move on to the big leagues if possible. And I think it's great that they continue to pitch, and especially if they have something to offer, which they're both veterans, and they can do that.
Two and two to Castro, who grounded out in his first at bat. And he cannot hold up on a curveball. So that's 4 strikeouts for Drew Pomeranz.
Lefty on lefty, and Castro knew, so when the ball hit the dirt, he knew he had gone too far and upset, flung his bat, but Stephen Vogt reacted nicely. And watch Ike Davis at first base. That's so important because the catcher's throwing into the runner, going down the line, but Ike Davis gives him a good target, steps to the outside, and then tags the bag with his foot. But it's always important. Veteran first baseman Ike Davis has proven he is that, can pick it at first and always get as good a target as possible with a runner heading down to first base.
I want to know to Jake Marisnick. Marisnick is 1 for 8 in the series. Here, Alex Rodriguez hit another home run tonight. He now has 656 in his career. So 4 away from tying Willie Mays at 660.
Joe Girardi's manager said he probably impressed him more than anybody during spring training.
Played a little first base.
Yeah. Missed a whole year and came back.
So the Yankees have said that they're not going to pay him the bonuses, so they're going to end up fighting that one out with Alex Rodriguez. Down the right field line, fair, headed into the corner. Marisnick's got very good speed. He's into second. He's going to try for third. Sogard's throw is just a bit late, and it's a one-out triple for Marisnick.
Well, that's the time, no chance to actually look to Gary Pettis because he knows there's one out. He knows it's down in the corner. He knows he has the speed. And wants to get to third base, so the A's have to bring the infield in. Reddick playing him a little bit towards right center. And Sogard just tried to catch and throw quickly and did not get a lot on the throw, unfortunately.
Marisnick's a big guy, and he runs well.
A couple of peaks there, and so he didn't even. I mean, Gary Pettis had been the one to look at because he probably would have brought him also, could have saved him a couple of steps.
Altuve takes outside. Altuve doubled and scored, and then was robbed of a hit by Reddick. So he's 1 for 2. A good series. 5 for 11 in the series. Base hit, past the diving Sogard. Marisnick trots home. So Marisnick stretching it from a double to a triple turns up huge there. Infield had to come in, and Altuve gets the RBI.
Yeah, if he stops a second, Sogard is there to make the play and throw out Altuve. This one he has to dive for and can't get to it. And Altuve with the best part of hitting, and then it's with the infield in.
There's 6 hits now in the series for Jose Altuve. So we mentioned the Alex Rodriguez thing, and I did, just so people understand what we're talking about. In his contract, Alex Rodriguez gets a $6 million bonus each time he hits a home run milestone, starting at Willie Mays at 660. And then there's Ruth at 714, Aaron at 755, Bonds at 762. So by the time he hits one of those, he is scheduled to get a $6 million bonus. Yankees are going to fight that a little bit. But you know what, Ray? That's not for us to worry about.
No.
And we're not.
And to get to Hall of Famer Willie Mays at 660, while that will be at least 10 more. I mean, he's 4 away, but
after that,
there's a lot of home runs after that. And at his age and missing all of last year, and really don't know how many more he's capable of hitting.
Big swing by Springer. He strikes out for the second time. So 2 outs here in the 5th. A run in for the Astros.
Stayed away from him as Springer was opening up, and he'll realize eventually there are a lot of hits to the opposite field when instead of trying to pull everything.
Here's Lowry, who has been tough on the A's tonight. A 2-run homer in the 1st, an RBI double in the 3rd. Fastball away.
You know, the way Jed Lowry's playing tonight. That's why I said what I said on Monday night when he wasn't playing. I was shocked, because it's still early in the season, and anytime you play a team that you were with the last couple of years and playing the first game of the series and you're not playing them, it was just a little bit shocking to me. Devin Scribner gets loose. I mean, basically without Lowry tonight, the A's are tied at 1-1. He's hit the 2-run home run and a RBI double to right field.
Well, Tuve was trying to get a good jump, and he gets picked off. So that's how the inning ends, but a run for the Astros. So 6th inning coming up. 4-1 Astros lead.
Plan to fit your schedule, as well as one of the most flexible ticket exchange policies in all of baseball. A's ticket plans provide significant savings off dynamically priced individual game tickets. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/ticket plans.
Here's Reddick. Reddick, a strikeout and a ground out. He'll be followed by Butler and Davis here in the top of the 6th. A's trying to figure out Colin McHugh, who has 11 strikeouts through 5 innings. And he has not fallen behind a whole lot of hitters. He does here to Reddick. Outside corner first strike. A's have 5 hits, but 4 of them came in the 2nd inning when they got their 1 run. Took 4 singles to get a run for the A's. The changeup drops low. Strike called, now 3-2. Reddick thought maybe it was a touch high.
Now the changeup floated, stayed up high, but evidently caught the corner. Maybe a back-up slide or something off speed, and did not challenge him with a fastball.
Golfed down the right field line, but fouled. Curveball down and into Reddick.
Does not want to throw a fastball. 3-1 and 3-2. He's got a 3-run lead, but staying with the off speed. Of course, he has 4 quality pitches, not afraid to throw any of them any time. And maybe going for the career high strikeouts, the 12. Because so 3-1 slider, 3-2 curveball, something's going on. The slider on the back door. No, got to go down and in with it.
And it's tapped, and it's just foul.
So frustrating for, I know Josh Reddick talks about the left side of the infield. Only one infield on the left side. All the space on that side, and they keep pitching him inside. All he can do is pull it, as he just did, pulled it foul.
It's this one high in the air, right center, and it's hit pretty well. But Springer's back there. So Reddick hit it well, but he's retired, 1 out. True story brought to you by McDonald's. 50 years ago on April 9th, the Astrodome opened its doors with an exhibition game against the New York Yankees. It was home of the Astros till 1999. And don't forget, home of the Houston Oilers until they moved to Tennessee in 1997. And it was nicknamed the 8th wonder of the world. There's the old part, and there's the new part. So
How would you like to have that job of taking your spray painter up on the top and spraying the roof?
I'll pass. The Astrodome.
Yeah. The grounds crew was dressed pretty neat. Like they were astronauts. I guess that was the whole purpose. Huh?
There's hundreds of stories coming out of the Astrodome.
You going to tell any of them?
No.
Anybody that's ever been in the Astrodome, whether you're in the clubhouse having walked the dugout.
Yeah, well, the furry creature story.
Yeah,
sure,
I mean,
those are all within. We can tell that on TV.
Because you actually had to walk from the clubhouse through and underneath to where all those friendly people were.
Yeah. The problem in the Astrodome is they had rodeos in there, so you had cattle in there. You had food for the cattle, and a lot of that food stayed there, and you had fans eating food.
Whoa.
I think Billy Butler thought it was strike three. I think everybody did.
But he struck out on the front door slider last time. He could have gone to the same pitch twice in this at bat and just threw a fastball, and maybe everybody was looking for the front door slider again, which you might get this time. It's a slider. See where Castro sets up. No, this one's away.
Tough pitch. Carter will ease to first, and that's the second out. So there's a good look at the Astrodome. But so, Ray, with all these rodeos and different things going on in there, well, there was pretty good eating if you're a small animal. But people who played there will swear that those small animals grew to very large animals.
That's
like,
right. They were
the old saying is rats the size of cats.
Mm-hmm.
And you felt like they were looking at you when you made that walk that you're talking about. Quite a place, the Astrodome. 0-1 to Ike Davis, who has got a single and a ground out to short. So the pitch count now for Colin McHugh is at 101.
There is bullpen activity. I would think this probably is hitting his limit.
Hit well left center field. Marisnik on the move. He's not going to get it. One hops that wall out in left center field. So Ike Davis has a 2-out double. So A.J. Hinch, the decision to make.
Pretty good swing by Ike Davis, showing his power. And just a couple of years ago, hitting 32 with the Mets. And that time, a ball outside, kind of a one-handed swing to left center. And Marisnik and noted that the outfielders of the Astros playing very shallow. Springer got burnt on Sam Fuld, and maybe a little bit deeper center fielder in Risnick might have been able to get to Davis's.
So a very good ball strike ratio from McHugh. So he's going to get a chance to face Vogt. Maybe not. Here comes A.J. Hinch. He's jogging to the mound. He has not made a signal to the bullpen just yet. He's looking that way.
You know, A.J. brought up a good point talking to him tonight during batting practice. And when he went out last night with Brad Peacock, he did not go out with the intention of taking him out. Maybe similar to what he's doing with Colin McHugh. And he said it's important to know your personnel. And he said he looked in Peacock's eyes and he said he didn't want to stay. And he took him out. Well, maybe something happened here with the pitch count that they figured all those strikeouts, pitch count got up, and he leaves in the 6th inning.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and Smog experts. It's 4-1 the Astros lead.
Emoji, not just any emoji, emoji. T-shirt Saturday, April the 25th, when the A's take on the Houston Astros. 20,000 fans will receive the creative T-shirts courtesy of Grant Thornton LLP, which features Sean Doolittle, Coco Crisp, Sonny Gray, and we know that all three will be there. But as it stands right now, only one's going to be available to play, and that's Sonny Gray. But we hope to get Sean Doolittle and Coco Crisp back sooner than later. And right now, Stephen Vogt against this lefty Tony Sipp, trying to do what he did last night. Vogt, that is, against Thatcher, the left-hander. And stayed in the game and got a base hit to drive in a big run. So lefty Tony Sipp does come in.
4th game. Pitched a couple of innings on Sunday in that 14-inning win by the Astros. So since then, he's had a couple of days off. Got one job to do here. Try to get Vogt. Shift is on. And the first pitch is a fastball foul back.
Stephen Vogt last night against Thatcher hit the breaking ball for an RBI. That was in the 6th inning. 2-2 breaking pitch, stayed on it, and Sipp was it the breaking ball that he threw to Jonas Martini. It almost hit the slam that Springer caught. That was an 0-2 curveball that he reached out and yanked it to right field, almost the slam. Sipp's got a good fastball.
Pours that one in there, and the count is 0-2. So Vogt's going to have to battle here. Oh, 2 pitch. Here it is. Fastball again. Vogt slices one foul down the left field line.
Well, after throwing a breaking ball at 2 strikes to Jonas Martin and have this happen, it took a miraculous catch by the right fielder Springer up over the wall, and Tony Sipp said that's 4 runs and a loss, but saved by Springer. Adonis Martin showing his power out on the front foot. Springer, unbelievable catch to rob him of a walk-off slam. Sip said, I cannot buy you enough dinners to make up for that.
High in the air, left field, but room for Grossman in front of the out-of-town scoreboard. Side retired. Davis is stranded after the double. Bottom of the sixth coming up. It's 4-1. The Astros lead. On July 26th, he received 82.7% of the votes, and that is a terrific player that's going into the Hall of Fame. In fact, it's a big deal here in Houston. He is the first Houston Astro in franchise history to go to the Hall of Fame. 7-time All-Star, some Gold Gloves, 3,060 career hits, finished 21st on that all-time list. 291 home runs. Look at the doubles. 668 doubles.
Look at his left elbow and see how many times he was hit by a pitch. 285. So that left elbow pad helped. So Jason Kidd will take many for the team. Craig Biggio, Hall of Fame. That's pretty special.
Lowry leading it off. He will join Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, and John Smoltz in this year's Hall of Fame class 2015. Biggio was a catcher and then a second baseman. Played center field for a period of time.
And part of the Killer Bees, Biggio, Bagwell, Berkman. Pretty good batting order.
Speaking of Killer Bees, Jeff Bagwell, as you mentioned, a lot of people here in Houston would love to see him get in a Hall of Fame. 55% of the votes last time. So he's got a ways to go. I'm not saying he was or was not, in my opinion, a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying from a vote standpoint, he's got a little ways to go.
Larry Anderson, who is now broadcaster for the Phillies, will probably care less because he was traded for Bagwell from the Boston Red Sox. And of course, Red Sox looking for a reliever. Larry Anderson was that reliever who was traded, and they picked up this kid named Jeff Bagwell. And what a career he had for the Astros.
3-1 pitch is low, and it's a leadoff walk. So Lowry's a ball. So the numbers on Jeff Bagwell, and you decide whether he was or is Hall of Fame worthy. 449 career home runs, over 1,500 RBIs. Won an MVP, was Rookie of the Year. Numbers retired. know. Interesting to see how close Jeff Bagwell gets. We got a pitching change. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. As Drew Pomeranz is done after 5+ innings tonight here in Houston.
Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So Drew Pomeranz, 5+ innings tonight. Jed Lowry's the guy who got him.
Yep.
Lowry with 3 RBIs. So 6 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Lowry is at first. That's his responsibility as well. Pomeranz shaking his head a little bit, and we see Evan Scribner for the first time in this series. For Scribner, appearance number 4. He's thrown 5 2/3 innings so far. No walks and 5 strikeouts.
Second appearance in relief of Kendall Graveman, his career high number of innings, and threw a lot of pitches in that Thursday afternoon at the Coliseum.
Gaddis hits one very high, headed toward the seats. So Scribner jumps ahead of Evan Gaddis. Gaddis a fly ball to center and a ground out to third so far. Good fastball from Scribner. This is one of those games where Scribner can be very valuable. There's still enough time for the A's to come back. The lead is not a huge lead.
Well, they have kept it manageable, and that's what Joe Pomeranz did do. Just a couple of runners left on base, and that was in the 3rd inning. So there's 1 runner left on base. So they've not had a lot of base runners, but when they have, they've been able to drive them in.
Chris Carter is waiting in the on-deck circle. Throw to first. Did they get him? Yes. Lowry was way off. And Stephen Vogt made a nice play, fired to Davis. Davis put the tag on, and I'm not sure where Lowry was going. But boy, he was way far out.
Well, the backhand is almost like it's going to be a delayed steal, and nice quick tag by Davis. I don't know. That is a little surprising because it wasn't as if the ball was in the dirt. It's kind of backhanded by Stephen Vogt. And at the quick throw, A lot of that depends on if the first baseman's going to be ready to take the throw. Usually they're in front of the bag, but like Davis hustled back, the throw was on the bag, and he got it.
Swing and a miss. Cutter strikes out.
So a great cutter is a pitch that Scribner has developed, and it's a good one here. It starts there and breaks out of the strike zone.
Nice little spin to it.
Yeah.
Carter has grounded out, and he has struck out so far. So Scribner coming out of the bullpen, shutting things down quickly here in the 6th inning. Amazing what picking a guy off at first will do. Oh. Jumps ahead of Carter 0-2. And I think he went around. Yes, he did. How about that? Nice job by Evan Scribner. And we are moving to the 7th inning. A's with a little work to do. They trail 4-1.
The #1 app for live baseball. At-Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com At-Bat for your smartphone or tablet.
Seventh inning from Minute Maid Park. A beautiful night in Houston with the roof open. And Brett Lawrie to lead it off. Lawrie is glad to see Colin McHugh out of there. He struck out twice, swinging both times. First pitch, fastball first strike. Mariners and the Dodgers are just about set to get things going at Dodger Stadium. Taijuan Walker for Seattle and Brett Anderson for the Dodgers. Dodgers helped out the situation yesterday. They scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th against Fernando Rodney and beat Seattle 6-5. You could almost see it coming, couldn't you, when the first guy got on base?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was watching it through the 8th. They didn't do anything. I went to bed and woke up this morning and had that feeling. Read that, yeah, I kind of had the feeling too. But now with Kendrick, who was acquired by the Dodgers in the offseason, had a chance earlier, couldn't do anything, but this time he did.
He did. Third time Lawrie has struck out, so he's had a tough night.
Brett Lawrie in that same situation as was the case in Oakland when he had 4 advanced, 12 pitches, 4 strikeouts. Tonight he's had similar situation, except in the first inning, first pitch was a ball. Other than that, strikes the rest of the way for McHugh, as well as Sip.
One away, here's Sogard. On Jackie Robinson Day, which we're celebrating today all around Major League Baseball. Interesting note coming out of the Dodgers is they said they are going to build a statue of Jackie Robinson outside Dodger Stadium. First statue that they have.
That's right.
And I guess there's going to be more statues being built at Dodger Stadium, but the first one will be Jackie Robinson. That's pretty cool. High to right field. Springer near the wall, and he grabs it. So Sogard put a charge into it, and that's 2 outs.
If you're a left-hander and not known for a lot of home runs, if you can hit the ball more down the line, you have a much better chance. This one to the right center field area at the warning track, and plenty of room to track it down was Springer.
So 2 outs. Here's Simeon. The changeup that didn't do much. Well, it's number 42, and we know that windup. Looks like Chad Qualls. We've seen him enough to know the windup. Simeon has an RBI single, infield hit, and he has struck out. So 1 for 2.
Luke Gregerson, the closer for the Astros, a former setup man for the Athletics.
High in the air to center, and Tony Sipp's going to have a good inning. And that'll do it. 7th inning stretch coming up from Minute Maid Park, where the Astros lead the A's 4-1.
By Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
Astros trying to salvage the final game of this series. Leading 4-1. It'll be Valbuena, Grossman, and Castro against Evan Scribner. Kerr first strike. Twins still leading the Royals. It's now 3-1 in the 8th inning. So the Royals have 2 more at bats to try to remain unbeaten. They're 7-0, but losing tonight in Minnesota. Canna Checks the wall. Now he's going to play it off the wall. Doesn't have to. It goes up into the Crawford boxes. And that's a Crawford box home run, folks. Valbuena dropped it into the first row of the Crawford boxes, and it's 5-1 Houston.
Fastball away. Pretty good job of hitting going to opposite field. And I don't know that Scribner, in watching, thought this was going to be the result. Probably thought, hell, he just hit it to left field. It's going to be caught by Canna. He's getting ready to play it off the wall and just dropped perfectly straight down. That's why they call them the Crawford boxes.
Phil Valbuena's second home run of the season. This is Robbie Grossman. Grossman tonight a strikeout and a fly ball to right field. Maybe the Angels score from earlier. Angels 10, Rangers 2. That was a day game down at Arlington. Indians beat the White Sox 4-2. Simeon out, Canna in. One Cal calls off another Cal. Turn away here in the bottom of the seventh.
Adam, our great stat man, just gave some notes, and that is the first run given up by the A's bullpen in this series. It's the seventh hit, first run. And Scribner, probably any of the park, it's call it the warning track, but we've seen the boxes in left field help left-handed hitters, even the A's hitters that have come in here to perform, and left-handed hitters have gone that direction.
So Jason Castro steps in. Castro 0 for 2 tonight, 1 for 5 in the series. There they are. There's been a few that have dropped into the first couple rows out there.
Hank Aaron, who hit 755 home runs, would always say, no matter where they land, as long as they go over the fence, it's a home run. You don't have to hit tape measure shots. They all count. Hank would have loved those seats at the Crawford box. He made a hit.
As I say, he may have tried to hook a few into the Crawford boxes.
Yeah, he. Barrett Laurie almost hit that pump. That's in left center, and hit just below that on Monday night.
Full count to Castro. Full count curveball. Castro will get to see another pitch. Nationals beat the Red Sox today 10-5 at Fenway. And Ramirez hit his 4th home run in a losing effort for the Red Sox. Wade Miley was making his first start at Fenway for the Red Sox, and he gave up 7 runs in 2 1/3 innings.
Gio Gonzalez, starting pitcher for the Nationals.
And he pitched pretty well. So a walk to Castro. And Marisnik will hit. See where the Diamondbacks called up Yosmani Tomas today, the Cuban player that they gave a whole bunch of money to, $68 million. He did not perform all that well in spring training, and they said he probably should start in the minor leagues, and really wasn't hitting a lot in the minor leagues, but they called him up. They said use him off the bench a little bit.
You know who's happy? Ariel Prieto.
That's right. Get him up.
So Prieto, and I said, what about him? He said, I hope he's here, which is the big league. Saw it at spring training. And
so it'll be interesting to see how that young man does. $68 million is what the Diamondbacks gave him. So there's no secrets there. He's got to produce a lot at the big league level. That one hit to center and hit well. Full back. Now he turns around, stops, grabs it, and quickly gets it back in. So 2 away. And now to the top of the order, Jose Altuve. Resnick hit that a long way. Altuve has had a very good series. Tonight he's 2 for 3 with a single, a double, an RBI, and a run score. He's 6 for 12 in the series. So he's starting to heat up some. First pitch is in there first strike.
Same Astros at the Coliseum a week from Friday for a 3-game series, when the A's do return following 3 in Kansas City, 4 in Anaheim. So the Castro family will be happy.
Yep.
Castro Valley, Jason's family.
Altuve, he can cover a lot of the plate. So 0-2 the count. Scribner on in relief of Drew Pomeranz, who went 5+ innings. And the big curveball, and Altuve strikes out. So another run for the Astros. This one on Luis Valbuena's opposite field home run. 8th inning coming up. It's the Astros 5 and the Athletics 1. Log on to CSNCalifornia.com as our insider Joe Stiglitz provides wire-to-wire reporting of the A's in this 2015 season. He's got breaking news, video, special features, and more only on CSNCalifornia.com. Beautiful night in Houston. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Top of the order for the A's, and they will face Chad Qualls. Chad Qualls last season versus the Athletics, it was a full disaster.
Yes, it was. That's why the A's are hopefully can do it again tonight.
He blew 4 saves. So you think about how close these divisions are at the end of the year. So the A's beat Qualls 4 times. And these were not, you know, those kind of cheap 8th inning blown saves. These were Astros have the lead going to the 9th inning.
Because he was their closer.
Yeah, he was their closer. Fold bounces it toward Altuve. 1 away here in the 8th inning.
But as we always say, that's the great thing about baseball. Every year at the January 1st becomes a new year. So I'm sure Qualls just checked off the Oakland A's from 2014, said it's all starting fresh. And for him, that's a good start. First out, ground ball.
So here's Canna, who's 0 for 3, and he lines one down the left field line, and it is just foul. There's not a lot of room between sidewall and foul line down there, so had to be close. And it was.
Last night we saw Sam Fuld drop one down there on the line. That was a leadoff double. This one just on the foul side of the line.
0-1 to Mark Canna. Canna 2 for 11 in the series. Close pitch, call the ball 1-1. Eight of the last 9 A's hitters have been retired, so they really haven't had anything going on except for the 2nd inning when they got their 1 run. They got 4 hits in that inning, but not a lot since then. To the backstop. Orioles beat the Yankees tonight 7-5 in Baltimore. Now 3-6 to start this season. Tap slowly down the third base line. It's going to be an infield hit for Canna. So that is hit number 7. Hey, we got in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan know-it-all with Sportsnet Central, brought to you by Hyundai. Coming up tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Our highlights from here in Houston. The Warriors and the Nuggets. We'll have highlights of that game as well. And we know who the Warriors are going to play in the first round. It's the New Orleans Pelicans. All right, so Pelicans, Warriors.
The arena?
In the first round. Games 1 and 2 will be at Roracle. We like to call it Roracle Arena. So, we, again, wish the Warriors good luck. Sounds like it's either going to be definitely Saturday or Sunday, but sounds like they may be opening up on Saturday. We do not know any of that for sure. Altuve scoops, flips to second for 1 to get the force there for the second out of the inning. So Reddick aboard on a fielder's choice.
Well, the shift is just eating up Josh Reddick. It seems like every ball he hits to the right side, somebody's there. Very hard. They have to really credit the staff of the Astros for making some pitches. It's not like Josh Reddick is not thinking about the opposite field. He's just not getting pitches to go that way.
So Butler steps up. He's 1 for 3. He led off the second inning with a single and scored. First pitch, called a strike. The Astros bullpen, which we've seen in a couple of years now, they have struggled. But in the very early going of this season, their bullpen's been pretty good. An ERA of 1.76 coming into tonight. So that's a good sign for A.J. Hinch. Got some veterans with Qualls and Neshek and Gregerson on the back end. Oh, 2. Canna runs. Castro's throw is not in time. Reddick, excuse me. So Reddick with a stolen base.
Second stolen base for the Athletics. First last night at Laurie. Good jump down 4, but taking advantage of the slow move by Chad Qualls. Getting into scoring position for a country breakfast.
So Butler appreciates that. We'll see if he can pick up an RBI. Tony Sipp went an inning and a third in relief of McHugh. Added through the 7th, and now Chad Qualls here in the 8th. Billy Butler checks, and they said he went around. That's Mike Everett at first, and Billy Butler can't believe it. So Butler called out on strikes, and Reddick is stranded at second. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 5-1. You decide at home. Did he swing? A's 1 run, 7 hits, no errors. The Astros 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Paul Morans and McHugh, the 2 starters. Colin McHugh, 11 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings, and a 3 RBI night for Jed Lowry, the former Athletic. So that's where we're at as we head to the bottom of the 8th when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So RJ Alvarez comes in. He's the third pitcher of the night for the A's.
Alvarez getting a chance to pitch in these situations, and I'd say a pretty good idea to get his feet wet, and he has pitched well, just giving up a couple of runs, actually just one run. He's in the game that Raymond started. A's lost in the game. Something in left field, left center field.
Super Cup.
Canada must have been thirsty because he picked it up and looked inside. See if there's anything remaining left.
Springer to lead it off against Alvarez. First pitch is a fastball on the inside corner with lots of movement at 95. Springer is 1 for 3, a single and a couple of strikeouts. The Twins won that game over Kansas City. Twins 3, Royals 1. So Kansas City loses for the first time this year. They're now 7-1. The Tigers won. So the Tigers are 8-1. Tigers beat Pittsburgh 1-0. A fun start in that AL Central for the Tigers and the Royals.
It sounded like that Verlander's outing was cut short.
There
we have.
Supposed to throw a simulated game, I think, today, and got to 45 pitches and was supposed to maybe go a little bit longer, but they stopped. I'm a little tired. Looks like it may be a little while before Verlander comes back. Good swing there by George Springer. Dodgers got 3 in the bottom of the first against Juan Walker. 3-0 in the second inning. The Dodgers over the Mariners.
He struggled in the first start against the A's. Thought that was an aberration, but
maybe not.
Yeah, maybe Dodgers right.
And a good fastball again, 95, and Springer strikes out for the third time tonight.
Springer looking back to ask the home plate umpire, that's a fastball center cut. It's just that he was trying to hit the ball out of Minute Maid Park. And there's the reason that, and we talked about it, the number of strikeouts, how they've increased. When you swing that hard, 3-2, I mean, you're looking to get a fastball, but you can't. It's tough to open up that much and lose really side of the baseball when you do fly open that much.
Astros have struck out 9 times tonight and 27 times in this series. Gregerson starts to throw. Jed Lowry tonight has not been retired. Homer, double, walk, 3 RBIs. Missing badly. Lowry's home run in the first inning, his third of the year. So the starting pitcher matchups for the A's Royals series coming up. Gray and Guthrie on Friday. Hahn and Ventura on Saturday. Kazmir and Duffy, a couple of lefties on Sunday. There's your pitching matchups. We'll have all 3 games.
All 6 of those, only 1 loss. Jesse Hahn. That was his first start.
Good pitch there. Alvarez took something off. So back-to-back strikeouts for the young right-hander.
Great changeup fooling Jed Lowry as he watched the changeup float in, almost like a screwball. Starts, comes straight down, and Jed goes back and says, Hudge, is the hitting coach, formerly with the Athletics and the Mets. He said, is that on the scouting report?
2 outs for Gaddis.
It's a former A's hitting coach, Dave Hutchins. And
couple times, right?
Exactly. 99 and then 2003 to 5. It's with the Mets when we saw them last year, I guess.
Center field hit a ton. Full near the wall. And that one's gone. That's what the Astros have been waiting for from Evan Gattis.
Strong man, and he just showed it. Alvarez, fastball, belt high, and Gattis, I think that look, watch this look on Gattis. He said, that's fine. I'll put my head down and just run.
Watch for this one, man.
That's flat-footed, too. And he's got a chance to lead Minute Maid a few times if the roof stays open.
Right where Rory hit his. So that makes it 6-1 now. And that's 3 home runs hit by the Astros tonight. And now hit 11 on the year. So Lowry in the first, Valbuena in the 7th, Gattis here in the 8th are your home runs. So 1-2 now to Chris Carter. Carter is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts tonight. He's 1 for 10 in the series. Setting up outside. That's a good pitch. Call the ball. I think this is the strike, right?
I think it is exactly like you described earlier. We've talked about crosses the plate, not where it caught by Stephen Vogt. That's why you see catcher trying to bring the ball up to show that it was in the strike zone across the plate.
That one is. So Carter strikes out for the 3rd time, but another home run by the Astros. Big Evan Gattis connects for his first home run. 6-1 as we go to the 9th.
Who pitched well against the A's last year. 8 2/3 innings tonight. So many strikeouts. He did not go as long as he did last year, but he had 11 strikeouts tonight, mostly with the curveball. And did a very good job. Front door cut or slider there to Billy Butler, but Colin McHugh, who again has pitched well in his young career. Bobby Dynamite got a chance. Tell you what, he better be careful with Evan Gattis. He may have to duck.
They better get in there, get inside when Gattis is hitting. So here is the new pitcher, former Athletic Luke Gregerson. This is obviously not a save opportunity for Gregerson. It's our first look at him in this series. Tapped out in front. Gregerson picks it up, throws, and Ike Davis is out.
Well, you know what you're going to get from Gregerson, as we did see last year. A lot of sliders.
So now Vogt will hit. Gregerson's 1 year with the Athletics. It was a good one. ERA of 2.12, 72 games, 5-5. It was kind of a typical Luke Gregerson year. Pitch a lot of games, very good ERA. And he has been a workhorse in his career. First 5 years with the Padres. He was a free agent, and he got a very nice contract from the Houston Astros. 3 years, $18.5 million. He was about halfway through spring training when the Astros said, he's our closer. They made that call, and so Gregerson will handle the 9th inning. He's got 2 quick outs here as Vogt grounds out.
Did some with the A's last year, not as much because of Doolittle's success in the closer role.
So Laurie, the final hope for the Athletics. Laurie's had a very tough night. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, all swinging. And he's probably going to get a diet of those right there. Gregerson will try to end it in style. That one cued. It may come back. Heads up. So 0-2.
Tom Waller reluctant to pick the ball up until it passed the first base bag. You can't run and pick it up before it passes the bag.
Gregerson kicks, and the 0-2 pitch. There's a line drive base hit left field. So Laurie got another slider. He went down to get it, and that's a nice job of hitting by Laurie.
Another 0-2 pitch. The last 3 at bats, counting this one, all 0-2. He struck out the 2 previous times. This time he gets a slider 0-2 and stayed with it. I went straight down and thinking about Gregerson's slider. It does not have a slide to it. It kind of goes down like a splitter. And Laurie always hustling, always running hard.
So Sogard gets his 4th at bat. Bunts it, rolls it foul. Sogard's thinking, hey, we need a bunch of base runners. I don't care how we get them. We just need a bunch of base runners. Down to our final outs. Scratch and claw any way to get on. Out to a very shallow. Astros will have tomorrow off. And the A's will have tomorrow off in Kansas City. Two and one now. Valbuena, the third baseman, even with the bag. Outfield shifted toward left center. And that's a strike. Could have been outside.
Yeah, that low fastball tailing a little bit. And this time of the game, swing back. And it's just certain times strike zones do change, and especially look at the scoreboard to see the 5-run lead.
High pop-up, and it's Grossman grabbing it, and that's the ball game. So the Astros salvaged the final game of the series behind a very fine pitching performance from Colin McHugh, who struck out 11 in 5 2/3 innings. He gets the win. Pomeranz takes the loss, and it's on to Kansas City for the Athletics to open up a 3-game series on Friday night. Final score from Minute Maid, it's the Houston Astros 6 and the Oakland A's 1. You've been watching A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California.